Or if I'm just silent the whole time, he's probably just sitting there like, yeah, you also enjoy spending time with small streams. You actually get to chat. Hey, man, that's awesome. Yeah, like on a big stream, that's the one thing about Northern Lion. Like, I don't know his exact numbers, but he's a pretty sizable channel. So if you wanted to try and actually chat with him, it's really more about just being part of the memes, I guess. So much more than like actually chatting with him. Because he'll read comments like when he can, but whenever it's going that fast, you're not gonna get like a word in like edgeways. Like you're not gonna get it at all. You're not gonna get to actually talk to him, which in some ways maybe that's fine. You know, you're just part of the community, you're part of the group, but you can't have that meaningful conversation. Just went to see that girl and she was re-watching the clip when I trolled her and she was like, "That's kind of funny though," but he's still banned. See, it's funny. Like, even she recognizes it's funny that she got really good right there. It's hilarious to get got like that. And then if you're, like, a good sport about it, which I guess she is being now, then it makes it worth it. Like, so maybe on one hand, it would have been good for me to have gotten got, because then I would have had a story of me getting got. But I got saved from getting got. Please, though. Like, I appreciate you guys hanging out, though, because it makes this a whole lot easier, especially if I have people to talk to. It makes it to where I don't just have to talk about the game the whole time, and I can just kind of, like, zone out and just play, like, play at my own... This isn't how you want to do this, by the way. What on earth was I doing there? Okay. But, like, just having the ability to, like, banter with people and, like, talk with people, I think is awesome. And not only that, but it gives you, like, a greater sense of, like you're doing something worthwhile. It's like, if you're just streaming for... Yeah, it's a big oof, dude. Falling off that thing every single time I get there. But it makes you, like... I don't want to say it's always discouraging to stream for, like, 0 people for long periods of time. It is discouraging. But, like, at the same time, you're like, how could people possibly know that you're going to provide them entertainment? When there's already established people, it's hard to bring in a new audience. But that's when you, like, think to yourself, like, everybody started somewhere. So, like, there's no point in getting discouraged. Just keep doing what you're doing, and eventually, you know, either you'll find it's not for you, or you'll find a way to make it for you. And, you know, obviously, if I could make a career out of this kind of thing, that's, like, a huge plus, a huge, like, bonus. But even if I could just do it for fun and a few people come by and hang out like this, like, that's also awesome, because, like... I know there's people here that are getting something out of it. And I also know that I get to, like, interact with other human beings. Which most of the time I'm pretty reclusive, which, you know, I'm a streamer, so kind of comes with the territory. But at the same time, it's nice to know that humans exist. It's nice to think, oh, there's, like, millions of people watching other people on this platform right now, but... literally 0 of them are watching me. And I think that that's a big part of, like, why a lot of people will stay at 0 views, like, forever. Is whenever someone does show up, they either completely change how they're doing, like, what they're doing, or they, like, they stop being themselves, or they, like, try too hard to keep the person there. It's also good with small streamers. You can tell they're at it because it's fun. A lot of big streamers I watch do it as a job. Yeah, like, some people get burnt out so bad, and honestly, I could see it. Like, you think to yourself, oh man, you're just playing video games. How could you get burnt out? I can completely understand it. Like, the longest job that I had, like, not like about a month ago, I just left my job of 3 years at Walmart, and I got up to, I was a manager, and then I just decided, I was like, I need a change, and I'm not a full-time streamer. I obviously, like, looking at my numbers, I can't do that yet, obviously, but I got another job before I left, of course, and I was like, you know what? I bet this will be like 100 times better. I got to this other job at Amazon is where I started working after that. I went from like, I was like, here, let me just go from like top 3 biggest company in the world to other top 3 biggest company in the world. And in my head, I was like, oh man, they're gonna pay me the same thing I was making with less responsibility. Like, how could that not be a plus? We still were fine there, by the way. How could that not be a plus? And it turned out that I absolutely hated it. So I'm currently like in between a job right now, which I'm okay. I'm fine right now, like completely fine. I have probably like, I'm sitting on a decent amount of resources right now that I can like just take my time finding a job. And I'm not just sitting not finding a job. I'm trying to find a job actively. But I figured I got a little more time right now to dedicate to streaming and to doing YouTube stuff. So I was like, well, I mean, why not do it then? And I've been trying to dedicate like more time to improving my stream and improving myself while streaming. Like, wow, we're here, huh? Oh, we really rogered that. But I just recently I commissioned someone to make like a new like logo, a new like what not that I expected it to like translate to big numbers or anything, but just because I like enjoy seeing my stream and feeling as though like I can have a sense of like pride in how my stream like how it's branded. Because ever since high school, I've been called Brainwaves. It was like a nickname that one of my friends in high school gave me, and I just kind of like ran with it. And it was always like my gamer tag on like Xbox. It still is my gamer tag on Xbox. It's Sir Brainwaves there too, and I've just kind of ran with that nickname because I always liked it, and it's what I use for my branding. And I like talked to this person. Because at the time, my name on here on Twitch was Brainwaves 109, because I didn't have the Sir Brainwaves part on it yet, and Brainwaves itself was taken. So I had Brainwaves 109, and this was only like a couple weeks ago. I saved myself there, I think. But I approached this. I looked at a bunch of people's work on Fiverr, which you know, some people have a kind of political opposition to Fiverr and how they do their policies, but I still think there's a lot of talented artists on there, so I figured it'd be a good place to find something to brand myself. And I went there, got another person, but he was cool. Dude, it's an awesome time, like, getting people. I love it. I'm gonna have to hear that story. Go ahead and, like, tell me about that one, unless there's nothing interesting. I want to know all of them. But I approached her and I said, I want to change my Twitch name, and I want a new, I told her what I wanted my name to be, and I told her, like, I like blues and I like grays. That's about all I gave her, and I said I want to incorporate, like, the different parts of my name, like the Sir, the Brain, and the Waves, all that, like, into my branding stuff. And her thing was that she, like, keeps it simple, kind of, you know, which I like. I don't like the overly complicated, like, oh, look at all the fancy lights, and you have 72 different buttons you can hit here to subscribe to me and the 15 channels that I have an account on. Go like and subscribe and follow and tell your dog, you know, tell your dog to follow me too. Like, not like that kind of stuff. He was still on the stone level and he pressed Control R. He was like, oh no. That's awesome. Oh my god. It's great when people have no idea what it is and then like they're hitting it and they're like, oh man, we're gonna get like some new tech here. This is gonna be really helpful. And then it turns out to not at all be helpful. And I was like, oh man, that's awesome. But whenever she started making it, she sent me like the first little graphic of it, and I was like, yeah, this is like exactly what I wanted. And so, you know, she worked, it took like 8 or 9 days to, what are we doing here? It took like 8 or 9 days to make all the branding stuff. And after she was done, like, she sent it all to me. And I had to spend an entire day, because I'm currently using OBS, or I'm using Streamlabs OBS to record on. And at the time, though, and this has only been a few days ago, I was using OBS. And I was like, well, you know what? If I'm going to rebrand everything, and I'm going to set up, like, alerts and stuff for when people follow, which I have now. Like, if you guys had followed me literally, like, 3 days ago, nothing would have happened. I might not have even known you had followed me until, like, the end of the stream. And I would have seen it later. And I think that kind of feedback of them knowing that you recognize them following is kind of a big deal. Like, I'm not saying that you have to, like, every time someone subscribes to you or, like, follows you, you have to be like, oh my god, you're the greatest human that's ever existed. I'm gonna name my first child after you. But, like, at the same time, you know, you gotta let people know that you appreciate it. That's great. Skipping the mattress there is, like, honestly, like, dream territory. We're just gonna staircase our way up. We haven't gotten to try the orange table in a while. Why are we going? Okay, go. Go. We just have to be more subtle going through. Just climb your way through. That's great. I gotta sleep. It's 2 a.m. in your country. Wow. That's pretty late. You're gonna have to let me know tomorrow or something whenever you come back where you're from and everything. But you have a nice day too, man. I really appreciate the, yeah, good work today. Good work today, like Wyatt Wynn said. I greatly appreciate your services of telling me about people getting very big mad. You have a good one, and if you come by again, let me know if you ever get anyone else, because it's hilarious. We're still alive. See, like, it's interactions, like, with him that are awesome. Oh, really? That's awesome. I did not expect that at all. I'm greatly happy that we got someone not even from the United States to be in here. That's great. I watch, if you're already gone, though, don't worry about it, but I watch this series with Northern Lion F in chat, by the way. But I watched this series with Northern Lion where he plays with this other guy named Sinvicta, and it's called GeoGuessr. And it just plops them somewhere in the world, and they have to figure out where they are by, like, using, like, Google Street Maps. That's an even bigger F in the chat. They have to figure out where they are using, like, Google Street Maps or whatever, and, like, they can kind of click around and, like, move down the roads. They can look at road signs and stuff. Which, in theory, you might think, oh, well, I mean, that's, you know, you'll be able to figure out where you are if you just use street signs, but a lot of countries, you know, obviously don't speak English, so you're not going to get much off of their signs, and also, like, the ones that do speak English, even if you find out what country you're in, it's going to be hard to find, like, where in the world you are. It's made me appreciate a lot, and they're both very good at the game by now, because they've done hundreds and hundreds of episodes of it. But just watching them, like, and being able to actually look at the different parts of the world is fascinating, because, like, everywhere is, like, very different, but also, like, everywhere has a lot of common elements. Like, a lot of places, like, name their road structures fairly similarly. A lot of them are quite a bit different. It's actually a source of a lot of their frustration is, like, oh, I'm on this road in this country. They're like, well, I should be able to just, like, navigate their road system on the map then and figure out where I am. No. It does not work that way. But it's still extremely fun to watch, because just seeing the other parts of the world is awesome. And having someone here from another country is really cool too. Because you're just like, oh man, like someone like that lives nowhere near me is currently watching me play this silly game where I climb a mountain with a hammer in a cauldron, while I'm sitting in the comfort of my own home. And they are also probably in the comfort of their own home, just hanging out. Really cool. What am I doing? I've done the same thing 5 times in a row on this rock. 6 times in a row on this rock. Okay. It's been a long time since we've gotten a real attempt from the orange table. We've only climbed up onto the rocks beyond the orange table twice. And the second time, I just, like, launched myself into oblivion. Not the game Oblivion, though, because I could never get into Oblivion. I was more of a Skyrim guy myself. Kind of crazy that they got bought, that Bethesda got bought by Microsoft. I'm an Xbox player myself when I'm not on PC, so I'm okay with it, but I just hope they don't, like, make the next Elder Scrolls rushed because of it, to be honest. I know that sometimes Microsoft buying things is kind of like a bad sign. Did they yeah, Microsoft bought Bethesda. This has only been a couple of days ago that this happened, but Microsoft straight up bought Bethesda, which is insane. So, like, people are worried that either PlayStation people, or maybe even PC in some extents, like, I know that Microsoft obviously is computers as well, but that's what people are scared of, is that it's gonna go console exclusive, but not just console, but also just Xbox exclusive. And Phil Spencer has said that he says that they're not going to exclude the gaming community like that from the next Elder Scrolls, but I'm a little bit afraid of it. Like, as an Xbox owner, I'll still get to play it, but I feel like once you start excluding audiences, then you're kind of asking for trouble. Like, I know a lot of the biggest games that particularly Sony has had in recent years has been exclusive stuff, like The Last of Us and like God of War, and why can't we get up there? Oh no! F in chat. But I know that, believe it when you see it. Yeah, exactly. Like, whenever either side, like Sony or Microsoft, whenever they say anything, you've got to take it with a grain of salt, because they're in competition, so they're not going to, like, tell you definitively what they're up to, like, ever, basically. So you should never expect a direct answer from either side, really. Because they're both, like, they both have provided a lot for the public over the years with their services, but they're both also trying to make money. They're like mega corporations. Microsoft, a much larger company than Sony, but in the console front, not really. So, in fact, a lot of people would probably say that the PS4 beat the Xbox One pretty easily, and I can't really argue it. But, you know, they've been pretty competitive with each other for years now. Like, 360 and PS3 days, I think, were like the peak of the console wars. These next consoles, people are kind of saying, like, might be the last, like, of that old school method of consoles. Because some people say that the Xbox is going to be like, I don't know if it's the same for the new PlayStation, but they say it's going to be like kind of like a modular thing where you could just kind of upgrade that one box like it's a PC indefinitely. And I don't know if I believe that, because I know they like releasing hardware. So even Nintendo. Like, what are we doing here? Speaking of Nintendo, though, not to completely pivot off of the Xbox versus PlayStation and the Bethesda conversation, but I need to buy that, and maybe, you know, maybe it's a little bit of a rip-off, maybe it's not really worth it, and you could argue they should be doing other things, but I still want to buy the 3D All-Stars. It's got Super Mario 64, the Sunshine, and Galaxy on it. Now, I've played Galaxy. It's my least favorite, although a lot of people say it's, like, arguably the best 3D Mario game. And it probably is, and maybe I need to replay it to get that added perspective. But if I was gonna rate those 3 games, I would say that my favorite is Sunshine, followed by 64, and you know, maybe 64 is a little bit of like rose-colored nostalgia glasses, but I honestly think that my favorite has to be Sunshine. Sunshine's one of my favorite Mario games of all time. I've even got, I know it's not really Sunshine related, but back here, like right about there where my finger is, I've got like Mario bricks on either side, and then like what would be like kind of like a mushroom block kind of thing in the middle of them. It's just got an M on it, but my father carved that for me out of real wood. It may not look like it from here, but it's thick wood. Like, it's not just like a little piece of plywood that he like carved into. Like, it's actual wood, and it's really cool. You watched a short stream of someone playing Sunshine? It does. Like, Sunshine still looks pretty good today. There's a lot of GameCube era Nintendo stuff that still looks pretty good. I think Luigi's Mansion is another example of a game that still looks good. It's almost got like a kind of like a claymation-y look, Luigi's Mansion does. Like, it's just very like smooth, but what are we doing here? Yeah, get in the swing of things. Get in the swing of things. Yikes. Yikes. But hey, thanks, by the way. Yeah, I was really happy when I got my new stream set up. I was like, dude, I have to hang this up as well. Because at first I just had the swords, the Zoro scroll, and the, which I don't know if you watch anime or One Piece at all, but that's what those swords are from, and that's what the wall scroll is from, is it's Zoro from One Piece. My girlfriend got me big into anime over the last, like, year and a half. Like, big into anime. I've watched all, like, 900 and some episodes of One Piece over the last, like, basically year. Been playing a lot of Superstar Saga recently. Even if the graphics are outdated, it's still... Speaking of outdated stuff, my favorite Mario game, if not my favorite game of all time, is Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars on the is it Super Nintendo? Yeah, it's honestly Super Mario RPG is maybe my favorite game, full stop. Like, that game might be, like, I think I would have been a big gamer either way, just because of my generation as well as my family, like, getting me into it. But I attribute a lot of my love for video games to Super Mario RPG. And a lot of people have never even played it, which is kind of a sad story to me, because that game deserves all the coverage in the world. Some people, when you say that, they're like, what Mario game is that? I've never even heard of Super Mario RPG. And, you know, whenever we bought it, I got lucky to ever own it. Never played that one, but also never met a bad Mario. Yeah, it's oh man, it reminds you of, like, I think it was in collaboration with Square back in the day. Maybe it wasn't. But, you know, like, a company most known for, like, you know, Final Fantasy stuff back in the day. Like, it's turn-based, 3v3 combat, and it's, like, timing-based blocking, stuff like that, timing-based attacks and everything. The actual successor to it was the Paper Mario series. They were gonna make an RPG too, but Miyamoto liked the idea of changing the aesthetic. So they went with the Paper Mario series, which Paper Mario and Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door are also two of my favorite Mario games of all time. So I'm not going to complain necessarily that I didn't get RPG. But yeah, if you want to watch that, I would highly recommend you watch a playthrough, or if you can play it yourself, I recommend playing it. It has probably the best Mario music, probably some of the best just music in general, especially boss music of, like, any game that I've ever played. Like, the amount of dedication in it is incredible to me. And the design is great. All the characters are fun to play. You get new characters as you go. Some of the most fun characters in the Mario franchise are on there, and they never have brought some of them back. Like, there's this guy, Gino, who's basically like a scarecrow, who was, like, basically, like, kind of summoned by deities. It's never, like, fully made clear. He, like, he, like, takes over the body of a doll and, like, becomes a real boy. And he fights with you for the whole game, and he's cool. And Bowser even fights with you in the game. Like, he ends up being, yeah, man. Like, I think that was a big part of why the soundtrack was so good. And then they also, like, incorporated the fact that it's a Mario game into it, which Mario games usually at least have, like, iconic music. And they were able to, like, orchestrate a absolute masterpiece of a score, in my opinion. Like, some of my favorite. It might be a little bit of rose-colored lenses, but everyone that I talk to that has played it is like, no, that game is actually incredible. F in the chat. But everyone that I've heard that has played it absolutely, like, is like, yeah, no, that game is actually incredible. And I've heard a lot of developers that have, like, spoken about it say that, like, it was kind of like one of the forefathers of great RPGs. Like, Legend of the Seven Stars. Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. I highly, highly, highly recommend you check that game out. Oh, man. You can play it yourself on, like, an emulator, or if you happen to have... It's hard to find copies of it. But I do still have a copy for the Super Nintendo. And, oh, baby. The only thing about it is, though, is that the cartridge is so old that it doesn't really save very well anymore. So if you want to play it, you've kind of got to play it through in, like, one sitting. And it's a fairly long game, so you better start early in the day. But you can do it in one day, for sure. Well, maybe you can't if you don't know what you're doing in it. I've played it enough, and I've seen it played enough that I know what to do. So, if you're gonna play it, I would probably recommend emulating it somehow. See, that's what I'm wondering. I don't know. And I don't know if you can emulate it on the Switch. Like, I don't know if it's on one of their virtual emulators. I don't know myself, because I've always just played it physically. But I think a lot of the people that play it probably don't play it physically. Like, people that do Let's Plays and stuff probably have some kind of emulator. I don't know what the preferred one for it would be. Because I had one for a while that, I think it was like Dolphin or something is what it was called. I don't know if that's considered a good one or not. But I don't even know if it ran SNES games. But I had one for a little while just to play some games. But oof. It is so cool. I want to get super... Yeah, dude. The original Super Mario Brothers. I actually... Okay, wait. Before I do that, I do want to say I do have a cool story of how I got my cartridge of Super Mario RPG. I was a child whenever it was out, but my mom said that she went to a vintage stock, which if they don't have them where you are, it's just basically like it's got retro games. It's still around today. It's got like retro games, retro consoles, comic books, that kind of thing. And she said she was in there, and she saw this Mario game, and she was like, "Never heard of this game before. What is this?" She took it up to the front, and the guy that was working there was like, "What is this game?" Or no, he didn't say. Sorry, he didn't say what is this game. That's what my mom said, and he goes, "What? We have a copy of this? Like, if I had known that, I would have hid it in the back and like taken it home myself." Apparently, it was really hard to keep anywhere back in the day, so I got really lucky to ever even own it. So if it hadn't been for like that interaction, or if that employee had realized that they had it, I probably never would have played the game. And so, if I had seen someone play it later, I'd been like, "Oh, cool, an old Mario game." You know, I might have lost some of that appreciation. So I barely even got my hands on it ever, but I'm glad I did, because one of my favorite all-time games for sure. But anyway, going back to Super Mario Bros. The original one, I didn't actually play much as a child, but I went back whenever I kind of started like doing stuff on this YouTube channel, and which was years and years ago, that I decided I wanted to try doing some content stuff, because I stopped for years and years as well. But I speed ran Super Mario Brothers, the original, on the All Stars cartridge. These. Yeah. I speed ran it from that cartridge, you know, the one that's got Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, 3, you know, that kind of thing. I played it, and I speed ran it. And I, God, what was the best time I ever got? Like 24 minutes. I beat it without any warps. Like, the run that I did was all levels warpless run. And, oh man, my phone's about to actually die here. Let me, hold on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get a charger. I'm gonna tell you my PB though. Be right back. I've returned. Now I gotta get under my desk and like throw this charger in there. Where are you? Okay. Plug in phone. Live. Alright, I've saved it. All is not lost. Right, I've returned. My PB for... Okay, got cords now on our way. Let me take a drink as well. My PB was around like 20 some minutes for all levels, no warps. And, which... I actually got to on, if you go to speedrun.com, you'll probably still... Hey! Another new follow. What a day. Hey, I appreciate it. Ash, I'm gonna call you Ash. I like to use the last part of people's names for some reason. I don't know why that is. What's up? I like to use, like, the back part of people's names whenever I address them or whenever I, like, name them. Like, I did the same thing with, Cosmic Wolf the other day. Dude, you're the 4th follow today. I love it. How are you doing? It is. This is my first time playing. Oh, well, okay. First playthrough. This is the 2nd day I've streamed it. But it's the 2nd day that I've played it. But, please. Please, just get... I'm gonna let you know in advance. I'm gonna let you know, Ash. If you're trying... You are? You're about to hit me with a tip, aren't... Don't do it. Don't you hit me with the control tip. Don't do it. No, don't do it. But if you really are good at it, though, that's mad props to you, because I am not good at it. But I do appreciate the follow. You were the 4th person that has done so today. Speaking of good, going back to the original Super Mario Bros. Thing, I wouldn't ever say that, even though I got like a 24-minute time, if you go to speedrun.com, I think I'm still in like the top 50 all time for speedruns of that game. And you'll see like between me and number 1... Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought I got you, Ash. I thought so. You're the 4th person today, by the way, Ash. The 4th person in like 2 hours that's tried it. And I figured you probably were good at it. A lot of people like that do come in here are like trying to check out people that aren't as good at it, and they're like, hey, this happened to me back in the day, so I'm gonna get you. But you're the 4th person today that's done it. And 2 of them, they came back later and like told me about the people that they did get. So if you want to get out of here, I don't blame you at all. But if you're gonna get out of here and continue doing it, all I ask is that you do please return and tell me about it, because I've had 2 people give me hilarious stories today about their attempt to... I think, by the way, before I get too off track, I think it's under like Brainwaves 109 or Sir Brainwaves. It should have Brainwaves in it though, I think, my name on the speedrun site. And it should have a link to my run as well if you have any interest, but the quality's not going to be good at all. Because whenever you get a certain time, or whenever you're applying for a certain time, you have to send them video proof, or they won't accept it. Because you're just like, I beat the game in 2 seconds. And obviously they don't want that, so... Like, if you're doing a speed run, you, like, pick your category that you're doing, and then you say, like, okay. And then if you get a certain time, you've got to verify it with video proof, and then they'll be like, okay, you're good. Someone will actually look at your video, and then they'll be like, all right, this is legit. Here's your leaderboard spot, basically. And I did a lot of runs of it, like hundreds and hundreds of runs trying to get better at it. And I had a great time speedrunning. With some of the earliest YouTube stuff I ever did. 57th. I have fallen quite a bit, because I haven't done it in years. But, I think whenever the last run, when I logged that run, I think I was like 24th or something. Like, so it's still got a pretty decent little following, a pretty decent little community of speedrunners. Because, I mean, it's Mario, it's a huge game, and it's 2D, so it's pretty easy to speedrun. Like, this game, I'm sure, has quite a bit of speedrunners as well that do it. A, because it's a modern game, so it's pretty easy to get access to. But yeah, man, Super Mario Brothers on the All-Stars cartridge. It's like a very specific run, because... the original Super Mario Brothers 1, the game is slightly different than the All-Stars cartridge version. So you have to be like, hey, I'm playing on All-Stars and I'm doing a warpless run where you go through the entire game without warping. I think mine's like 24 or something minutes. Now that I had a lot of room to improve though, like a lot of room. If I'd kept at it, I think my ceiling would have been about, like, top 15. I think probably could have been the best I could have achieved. Because, like, it's probably not that huge of a gap if you just look at the literal numbers between me and, like, number 1. But the skill gap between me and number 1 is incredible. Like, if you go watch the guy's run that's, like, the top, it actually just looks like he made no mistakes. And you look at that and you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna attain that. Like they're probably looking at it like, oh man, like I was like 2 pixels off of perfect on this one, like I could improve there. There comes a point where you're almost attaining perfection on that game, or on 2D games in general, where you're like, okay, it's a little hard for me to even attempt to improve on that. Like a 3D game, or a game like this with a little more variance to how you can fling yourself and whatnot, like Mario, like the original Mario, there's only so many ways you can, like, speed yourself up. There's only so many ways to maintain momentum. And your tippy-top speedrunners, they don't even grab your, like on mine, I'm pretty sure I grabbed a mushroom, I grabbed even, like, a flower. And it's not even, like, if you grab the flower, you can, like, jump over warp, like, the pipes with piranhas in it much quicker. But... at the same time, you have to go through the picking up of the things, like the animations of that. Watch some 80% from it, and saving 2 frames. Yeah. Yeah. Like, even the tiniest of improvements is huge. I had like a splits thing, like, to where I would... after I would complete a level, I would wait for a certain thing that, like, I'd wait for the screen to cut black after... I would wait for the screen to cut black, and that was when I would do my splits. That's when I would say, okay, this is how I'm doing this time. It, like, has a timer for each individual, like, area that you're on. And die. And for each little bit, I would hit the space bar, and then it would log my time, and I could look at it really quickly before the next level started. And it would be like, oh, here's your time compared to last time. So it really gives you something to push for. And you're like, oh man, yeah, they are all great. I love all the Super Mario Brothers. I honestly, like, despite 1 being my speedrun attempt, I'm very impartial to 3. Like, Super Mario Brothers 3 is probably my favorite. But to speedrun that game, that one takes so much more dedication because the runs are much longer. Thank you. Thank you. I have had troubles with my recoveries here lately. Like that one right there. For some reason, I'm really struggling on this section for the time being. Especially because I keep doing that. I think I'm just going too fast is my problem right now. But, like, Super Mario Bros. 3 is my favorite, but the runs are so much longer. You tried running Ratchet and Clank, but never got super into it. Yeah, speedrunning, man, it's like... First of all, you probably should choose a game that you love. Or, you know, some people say don't choose a game that you love, because then you might make yourself hate it. But I honestly think you should choose a game that you really like, because then you'll just enjoy existing in it. Kind of thing. Like, some people say don't pick a game that you like because you're going to spoil yourself on it. And you're going to be like, man, this game is no longer fun to me. Like, if I was to play Super Mario Bros. 1 now, I would have a good time just playing it. Because, honestly, just getting to where you've mastered ways to go quickly, it's a completely different game at that point. Like, to be completely honest, it's just a completely different experience. What am I doing? Like, honestly, just going back and playing it and, like, going slow, you're like, oh no, I'm, like, worse at the game playing this way now because I don't have a very specific strategy for how to get through it. Never even got a real split board. It's one of my favorite things to watch. I know, it really is. It shows, like, how dedicated someone can be to that game. And that's how I've heard it described, too, is, like, a love letter to a game. And, like... It's just because, like, you're like, okay, I'm gonna choose this game, and I'm going to put probably if you're gonna get anywhere really as a speedrunner, you're gonna have to put at a minimum probably hundreds of hours into a game to even get to where you're serviceable. Like it took me probably like 2 days to where of just playing it over and over again, and that was basically from a very base level. I had never even beaten the original Super Mario Brothers before. And so I was at pretty much like base level. It took me about 2 days to where I could pretty consistently beat it over and over again. Not without dying, but without like having any major like game over issues or anything. And also like I watched people do it, and I was like, okay, here's what they did here, here's what they did here. And they would do that level, kind of trying to replicate it a little bit. And then, like, just trying to go as quickly as I could safely. And then anything beyond that, I would just let develop attempt after attempt. And I know some people, like, with emulators, you can definitely make the process of getting better a lot easier. So you can just, like, hard save at a very specific spot and just keep doing it. But I didn't do that. Yeah, you have to know the game almost as well as the devs do. Yeah, like, and especially if it's like a glitchless run, then you just have to like master what they put into the game. And it's funny because a lot of those super old games don't really have as many of the glitches, just because they're not as complicated. So it's harder to like basically find an exposed point because they're very simple. So it's hard to have encoded something that's breakable. Like, a lot of your, like, 3D games, they have, like, major, like, broken... Like, Super Mario 64 has some of the freaking craziest, like, skips you can do. Like, you can beat that game in, like, seconds, I think. Like, you can, like, glitch your way through walls and essentially like get to like the little ending like thing. Why? F in chat? My skills on that slide section have gone to basically nil, by the way. But, Super Mario 64 and, like, other 3D games, like, it's actually hilarious how quickly some of those games can be beat, just because, like, Super Mario 64 was one of the earliest 3D games ever made, so obviously it's going to have a lot of holes in it that can be exploited. For the most part, a very solid and still to this day a very fun game. But, you know, there are a lot of holes to exploit out of a game like that. And it's really cool to watch. Like, people like talk about, like, they go to like forums and communities and things to where they like collaborate on discoveries on how to get better and faster at speedrunning some of them. You're gonna get out of here? Yeah, Darbian apparently got his world record. Yeah, like, that's insane! But, anyway, man, yeah, it was really fun chatting with you. I look forward to seeing you again, because it's a good time just, like, chatting. So I will look forward to seeing you again. But until then, I'm going to keep grinding for a little bit longer. I'm going to try to get myself to not be at the bottom when I end. I would like to probably end off at, like, the construction area by the slide. So because I need to go eat myself, to be honest. I'm gonna go get myself up to the slide territory, and that's where I'm gonna probably call it for the... But, again, it was nice chatting with you. I had a great time. I will see you in the next one, bud. Ah! Or I guess I could do the same exact thing I did last time and just start from the bottom. And that's where... What am I doing with my life right now? What am I doing? But, yeah, so... So now, moving forward here, what exactly is the end goal? The end goal is to achieve victory in this, the hardest game of all time. I have full confidence that eventually I will have a major breakthrough and I'll make it to the next area. Then I'll get to learn about that area. Okay, so this part for some reason is really plaguing me right now. I don't know why. This part isn't hard, I don't think, at all. For some reason, my brain is just, like, completely turned off to it right now. Okay. Squeeze through. Thank you. Curse my timing. Curse it into a blue... Okay, so here's the deal. Why are we bad at this game now? Is the question I would ask to myself. I think it might be that I just need to, because I find that a lot of times with not frustrating, because I've actually been able to avoid it pretty well today, just because I've had a good time today. Again, kind of like yesterday, just talking to people. Because this game has been a great source of, like, people telling me about their trolling experiences. I think that might be a pretty reliable way to make that. We gotta get better at not just going backwards the whole time. We gotta get better at that. But no, really what we gotta get better at is controlling our upward momentum a little bit better. See, like, that is not how you do it. Because I think it's very, very possible to just swing up from right there. Okay, so we want to be, like, right here, and then we pogo? No. See, even that is a no good. Why on earth? I think my brain is fried at this point in the playthrough. I can't I'm oh no. I am incapable at this point, I think, of making a climb that's worth anything. My idea was to get back up to the slide. My idea was to get back up to the slide before I, And this stream has just absolutely, like, flown by. Like, probably my best stream ever in terms of, follow count. I had 4 people follow today, which was incredible. So I've been able to, like, completely, like, take my mind off the game and just kind of, like, let it go, so to speak. Like, there's a big part of this stream that's just kind of, like, blank. Like, in terms of... Okay. We need Zin for one last push. Zoro? Zoro. Brother. Give me your hockey. Lend me your power. The barrels, dude. Gonna end up sounding like PewDiePie. It's actually like insanity to me, my inability to climb right now. Okay, okay. Just like the bad guy. Lethal weapon 2. My mans. My mans! What on earth is happening to us? Our skill has gone into the negatives. You know what? I think, I'm gonna give it one more honest to goodness. Like, we're just gonna send ourselves right here. We're gonna hold our hammer in front of our face. And we're gonna say that that is, hey, get out of here, assistant, whatever you are. I think that this is going to be, we're turning this on for ambiance. But I think that this is going to be where we end off for the day on getting over it with Bennett Foddy. It was a very good day again for another stream. And YouTube, for my YouTube guys and gals that are watching, I appreciate you guys checking it out. And if you have any interest in watching me do this live, because it might be a day or two before I'm back on this game. It might be tonight, who knows. But if you want to watch me live on the next time that I'm doing this, come out to my YouTube, Sir Brainwaves, just like on YouTube there. Or my Twitch, come out to my Twitch, sorry, and watch it there. It's Sir Brainwaves, all one word. Come out here, say hello, say what's up. You know, try to troll me like the guys have done today. And, but either way, I thank you guys for checking it out, and I thank you guys for being here on the stream. I know, most of you that were here for a lot of it aren't here currently, but if you ever see this VOD or the video, I thank you guys for coming out. My people that subscribe to me today, we've got Twitch TV Upson. We have It's Me, Mike Hunt. Michael Hunt. Whitpool _ and Sleppy Ash 34. All you guys are awesome. 2 of you, no, 3 of you tried to hit me with trolls. Actually, maybe like all 4 of you attempted to troll me. I think like all 4 of you attempted to troll me. But it was a great time. I had a lot of fun today. But again, I'll see all of you in the next stream, the next video. Come check me out. I'll see you guys there. Later, all.